This happened to me last week. Last week I was looking through some old videos and I came across this one right here. It was a video I recorded on my phone about 3 years ago. Back then, I had just bought a new place and it was filled with brand new furniture and gadgets. This one video, I filmed myself opening a box for the first time and putting the contents into the room. I don't remember what was in the box, but I do remember the room. It was the guest room, or rather the room that would become the guest room once I furnished it. It was huge, easily large enough to fit a queen-size bed in there, maybe even a full-size. But at the time of filming, there was nothing in it but an air conditioner unit in the corner and a TV on the wall. And while I watched the video, I was struck by how odd it looked, almost as if the room didn't match the background of the video. So I hit play again and I tried to look closer. And that's when I saw them. There were shadows in the corner of the room by the air conditioning unit. I paused the video and I stared at it. They didn't seem to be shadows cast by anything in the room. There was nothing making them. There was nothing in the room other than those shadows and me. Or so I thought. I stopped the video and I turned to the room. I stood up and I walked toward the corner where the shadows were. They were still there, or rather, they looked like they were still there. When I got closer, I realized that they weren't real at all. It was the light from the TV making weird shapes on the wall. Simple perspective tricks of light and shadow. Except that wasn't the weird part. The weird part was that I didn't remember filming those shadows in the first place. I looked at the video again, I rewinded it, and I played it back slowly. Those shadows were only visible at a certain angle and they were incredibly dark. It was as if something had been standing in the corner of the room, sucking all the light out of the space around it. So I did something crazy. I went back to the video and I matched the angle as best I could. I stood in front of the TV and I turned off all of the lights in the room except for the TV. And then I looked at the wall and I saw them again, those same dark shadows taking shape in the corner. Something was in that room, or rather something had been in that room when I filmed the video. And the scariest part was that I had no idea what it was or how I missed it. Now, you may think that this is the point where I should have called it quits. After all, this was obviously a ghost or some kind of supernatural entity, and I had no business poking the bear, so to speak. But I was young and stupid, and I wanted to get to the bottom of this. I mean, how many chances do you get to find a ghost in your new house? So I decided to try and capture the thing on camera. I set up my phone on a tripod and I pointed it at the corner of the room. Then I waited. I waited for hours, but I never saw anything. Eventually, I gave up and I went to bed. In the morning, I woke up and I checked the footage. And that's when I realized what I had done. The camera had recorded nothing but static, except for one short clip at 2:47 a.m. The camera had caught a movement in the corner of the room, some kind of shadow moving just like in the video from the night before. Only this time it was clearer, more defined. Whatever it was, it seemed to be coming from under the bed. Now, of course, the logical thing to do would have been to pull the bed away from the wall and check underneath. But once again, I was young and stupid. Instead of doing that, I tried to catch it on camera again. I stayed up all night, staring at the screen. But whatever it was, it only came out after I fell asleep. Every night, it was the same. A few seconds of nothing followed by a dark shape rising from under the bed. The whole thing lasted less than a minute, and every night it came at 2:47 a.m. Then, one night, it stopped. For weeks, the footage showed nothing but static until one night it started again. Once again, the same dark figure rising from beneath the bed. But this time, there was something different about it. In the corner of the screen, there was a small red dot, like a speck of dirt on the lens. At first, I thought it was just that, some speck of dirt on my phone's camera. But as I watched, the dot grew larger and it took on a humanoid shape. I strained to see what it was, and that's when I noticed its face. Well, what was supposed to be its face. Where its eyes should have been, there was only a black void. And where its mouth should have been, there was nothing. No lips, no teeth, just a gaping black hole. Each night, the figure got closer to the camera. Sometimes it would rise up on two legs and walk toward it. Other times it would hang upside down from the bed frame, dangling by its hands like a bat. And every night, it got closer and closer, until finally, one night it stepped out from under the bed and onto the floor. Its head was just a few inches from the camera when suddenly the screen flashed white. Then everything changed. The wallpaper disappeared, and in its place was a live feed from the camera. I stared at the screen, unsure of what I was seeing. Then I heard a noise. It was a scratching sound, like fingernails on wood, and it was coming from right beside me. I turned my head and I saw it, the same dark figure from the camera. Only now it was real, and it was smiling. Whatever had been hiding under my bed was now standing over me, its head mere inches from mine. I screamed and I swatted at it, but it just kept smiling. Then it spoke. It whispered something into my ear, but its mouth wasn't moving. It wasn't speaking out loud. Somehow, it managed to whisper directly into my brain, and what it said made my blood run cold. It said, "You can't run. You can't hide. We are always watching." Then it vanished. Now, of course, I freaked out and I spent the next few days searching my house for any sign of a break-in. I checked the windows, the doors, even the walls, looking for any way in that I might have missed. But there was nothing. No one had broken into my house, and yet the scratching continued every night. I would hear it in my room, in the walls, sometimes even in my dreams. And whenever I woke up, I would see the same figure standing over me, smiling that same unsettling smile. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to escape, to get away from the scratching and the whispering and the endless nightmares. So I did. I left my house and I didn't come back for weeks. When I returned, the house had fallen into disrepair. My plants had withered and died. The food in my fridge had rotted and spoiled, and in the guest room the scratching was everywhere, all over the walls, all over the doors. And then I saw it, the TV. The screen was dead, but the red dot was still there, blinking patiently in the darkness. I reached out and I touched it. It felt cold, like ice. Then the whispering started again. This time it wasn't coming from the TV. It was coming from inside my head. It whispered to me of things I can't even remember, of unspeakable horrors that happened in that room before I bought the house. It told me of sacrifices made in the corner of the room, of blood spilled on the floor, of souls trapped forever beneath the bed. And all the while I could feel its presence growing stronger, closer, hungrier. And then it stopped. The whispering stopped and I was left in silence, or rather, I was left in the absence of sound. Because what I didn't realize was that the whole time the silence had been watching me. It had been waiting for me to come back. And now that I was here, now that I was listening, it was ready to show me what it had been hiding all along. That's when I realized that the camera wasn't recording me. It was broadcasting me. My every move, my every twitch, my every scream, it was all being shown to them. And they were watching. Oh, God, they were watching. And they were waiting for me to wake up. They were waiting for me to wake up. They were waiting for me to wake up.